noise. As a city-state, we're inundated by it, and sometimes it gets too close for comfort. The Housing and Development Board says it received a whopping 11,400 noise-related complaints between January and September 2020. That's 42 complaints on noise every single day, a more than threefold increase compared to the same period the year before.
The statistics show that the average Singaporean has been exposed to a more than usual amount of noise in the last year. So in this episode of Talking Point, I delve deep into how noise can affect us in ways we least expect.
But first, let's find out what sort of noise people are most irked about. Dr. Lin Lan Yuan works with the Housing and Development Board to mediate noise complaints between neighbours so that the disputes don't end up in court.
I understand you receive a record number of noise-related complaints. Can you tell us why that happened?
I think because of COVID-19 situation, particularly during the circuit breaker months in April and May.
And for most of these complaints that are noise-related, what were people complaining about?
It could be, complaining upstairs, making a lot of noise because of dragging of furniture, chairs and tables. It could be also the sound that's generated from walking on the floor itself, running the footstep. But there are also noise that created from loud music, people playing organs, piano or other instruments. And of course, there are also renovations.
There's a good chance many of us will continue working from home. Do you expect the number of noise-related cases to be high?
If we work from home, there would be more activities at home. And when there are more activities, they're bound to generate more noise. That could affect your neighbours.
So for my line of work, I'm out on a shoot most of the time, which means I don't have to worry about the noise that affects people when they're working from home. But I do know someone who is having a really big problem with that.
Welcome to your clean dance, Go-Go Night!
Before the pandemic, Wayne Chan used to do this.
My name is Wayne Chan, and it's my pleasure to be your host on this beautiful morning.
But now, he's mostly stuck at home, where he's forced to host events virtually.
I basically planned out this whole event. And
For months, he has been dealing with incessant drilling noise coming from one of his neighbour's units. It irritated him so much that he posted this on social media.
There seems to be much more renovation and construction works happening over the past 1 year, and I'm talking about 2021. Manpower is now limited. Previously, you could have everyone go into a unit to do renovations, but now just 1 or 2 workers. So that's why renovations are being dragged out even longer.
So this sound, it's so bad that you can't do your work?
So I host like virtual conferences, virtual parties at home. So this drilling makes it, I can't do these shows as well as I would like to. You'd hear the drilling, and then you hear the hacking, and then hammering, and then somebody else kind of dragging something else.
How else has it affected you?
I think apart from disturbing your work, you can't rest in peace. You can't rest.
So you're saying you physically feel more tired?
I would say that all this noise does definitely makes you a little bit more anxious, a little more tense, and all of that would actually result in you not resting as well as you would like to. I feel pretty trapped in my own house.
A complaint to his condo management yielded no positive results. As Wayne found out, no one was breaking the rules. The Housing and Development Board classifies renovation into 2 types, general and noisy. Both are not allowed on public holidays. Noisy renovation, like drilling and demolition works, can only be carried out between 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. on weekdays. General renovation, which includes less noisy works like carpentry and painting, can start at the same time but go on till 6 p.m. as well as on Saturdays. These rules apply to both condos and HDB flats. Noisy renovation works can produce noise levels of over 100 decibels at any given time. That's way above the sound safety limit of 55 decibels as prescribed by the National Environment Agency. But beyond disrupting our work and rest, I wonder if there is more to how noise really affects us. I'm about to get a shocking discovery.
And this can't be repaired. Damaged forever.
Yes.
There is very little study on the impact of noise on us in Singapore, which is why in 2021, researchers from the National University of Singapore decided that they would bring more attention to how noise exposure can cause health issues. After taking 18,000 audio recordings across the country, audiologist Tiong Hui Ting has something interesting to tell us. She's asked me to meet her here, just outside the old Serangoon bus interchange.
So what are we doing here?
Well, because we found from our study, this place is one of the noisier residential area in Singapore.
As in here in Serangoon.
That's right. And
Oh,
you can
okay.
take a look around. It's actually very noisy here.
Serangoon is the noisiest neighborhood in Singapore. According to Hui Ting's research, noise levels around Serangoon recorded the highest average of 73.1 decibels. That's as loud as a ringing alarm clock and over 8 times the safe sound pressure prescribed by the World Health Organization. Coming in a close second is Orchard and Outram, with an average noise level at 72.8 decibels. And third noisiest, Bukit Timah, with average noise levels at 72.6 decibels.
What about the way the estate is designed, where the buildings are placed, the overhead bridges and all that? Does that also contribute to the noise?
Yes, it does actually contribute to the acoustic environment of
Sorry,
this.
see, I can't even hear what you said when the bus went by. So.
Why not? Let me bring you to the next place. So Steve, I brought you to this area because I
Okay.
wanted to show you actually how enclosed area trap sounds actually make the overall noise level even higher. So if you see right now, actually the volume around here is about 67.
Okay, is that good or bad?
So this is actually not entirely good because it's really high.
Right.
Yeah. So what happens is that when we have the enclosed area, it traps the sound and actually trap all the sound within this area.
Yeah, actually I do feel like it's more noisy. Now we're hitting like 82, 86. But I remember 55 is sort of the okay level, but you know, another 10, 15 decibels doesn't seem so bad, right?
Well, that's not true, Steve, because for every 6 decibel increase is a double of sound pressure level. So what we actually see is a more than 4 times increase in the sound pressure level.
Okay, what about the height? Lower floors versus higher floors. Which is better? Which is less noisy?
So this is actually quite a complicated question to answer because there are different perspectives of looking at it. So what we know is that top floors generally are physically more away from the major noise
Yeah.
like your traffic and construction noise. But then the thing is that that's only part of the picture.
Because even if you live on a higher floor, you may still be exposed to renovation work noise. Plus, there are less physical barriers on higher grounds to block sounds. The same study also found that Singapore's average outdoor sound level throughout the day is 69.4 decibels. That far surpasses the World Health Organization's recommendation of no more than 55 decibels. So in our city, noise levels on average are higher than recommended safety levels. What kind of impact does that have on us? Professor William Martin is one of the lead researchers in Singapore's biggest study about environmental noise and its implications on our health.
So noise
Yeah.
is all that sound that's going on. Any form of sound, we can call it noise.
He's asked me to meet him here, in a dance studio?
There's kind of 2 categories of noise that affects our health. One of it is city noise, Singapore noise.
Okay.
Noise that's going on in the background, aircon units, diesel buses, airplanes flying over, construction, kids screaming and playing. It all adds together and raises the sound levels that if we're exposed to that for long periods of time, it's associated with all kinds of problems, with cardiovascular disease, just from being around that type of sound for a long time. General stress and anxiety. So that type of city noises really causes long-term health problems.
These health problems, according to Professor Martin, are associated with prolonged exposure to city noise because the body is stressed.
So Prof. Martin, I have to ask you why you've asked me to meet you here in this studio, a dance studio, I think.
Well, one of the things that happens in dance classes is they play music. And sometimes that music can be at very, very high levels.
Okay.
The reason why I'm here is because Prof. Martin wants to warn me of another kind of noise. Not the kind in our environment, but the kind that I inflict on myself. And that leads to a different kind of problem.
The other type of noise is noise that has a high enough volume that it can cause physical damage to the inner ear, causing hearing loss. So city noise isn't usually going to be high enough and long enough to do that. But if you're at a dance studio, or you go to a nightclub, or a fitness class, or you just like your music loud when you're on the MRT.
So in that sense, the difference really is about the intensity and the duration of the sound.
That's right. It's a combination of how high the volume is and how long you hear it that causes the damage.
So when I'm here in a dance studio, is it because the music's, hitting my eardrums like that?
Well, I'll show you. I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
In order for sound to exist, something has to vibrate. But what we don't realize about sound is that it has a tremendous amount of energy that passes across the room, and that energy is what can go into our ear canal, move our eardrum, move the tiny bones in the middle ear, and cause damage to the delicate structures in the inner ear. And I'm going to show you an example of how much power we have. So this is just a quiet tuning fork, and you can see the ping pong ball rest against it. And now I'm going to bang it on my foot and just show you.
Wow.
So you can see that the power of the vibration moves that ping pong ball quite a distance. That's invisible to us. We don't see it. And it's that power that causes the damage. And I'd like to show you what happens in the inner ear. So in the inner ear, this is well behind the eardrum. If you stick your finger behind your ear, there's a little bump, that's bone. There's a little snail structure in there called the cochlea. And inside the cochlea, there are thousands and thousands of tiny cells called hair cells. And this is a picture of one of them. There's about, in the young healthy ear, there's as many as 18,000 of these.
Oh, wow, okay.
All 18,000 will fit on the head of a pin.
Wow, okay.
On the top is a little structure, the yellow part, we call the hair bundle. The sound energy rocks the hair bundle back and forth when the sound wave comes in. That tells the hair cell to send a signal through the nerve to the brain that you can hear. So if we look at a close-up of just the yellow, the hair bundle, this is what a healthy hair bundle looks like.
Right.
The hair bundle is the perfect rows, everything looks great.
There's a whole bunch of them.
See what happens when a hair bundle is exposed to loud noise.
All right.
We're going to take an empty hand and make a fist.
Right.
Okay? That's the hair cell, that's the green part.
Okay.
We're going to add the hair bundle on top.
Right.
Okay? And the arm is the nerve carrying the signal to the brain, right? The sound wave comes in, we're at breakfast and we're talking and it's nice and quiet. So
right, okay.
Nice conversation, we're talking with our friends, everything's good, right? But that afternoon you're going to the F1 race.
Right.
Well, before you go, your wife says, you got to vacuum the house.
Okay.
Vacuum cleaner's a little louder. Okay, hold it up. It still looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yep.
Okay. F1, you've been to an F1
Yep,
race.
it's loud.
It's loud.
It's really loud.
You ready to do your best F1 race?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Okay, Steve, what did you do? Oh my God, okay.
Wow.
Remember our hair bundles?
Yep.
This is what it's supposed to look like?
Yep.
Now, in real animals, in real humans, if we expose the hair bundles to loud sounds like an F1, this is exactly what happens.
Okay.
They're destroyed.
Right.
And once that happens, try and rebuild it. Try and make it straight.
Can I? Okay.
Try.
Yeah.
You can never get it back.
It's never exactly the same. No.
And the hair cell underneath the hair bundle will die and you'll get hearing loss permanent, forever.
Wow.
Every time we're exposed to very loud sounds, our ears are one step closer to becoming permanently damaged. Because with every exposure to loud noise, we lose some of the 18,000 hair cells in each ear that will never grow back.
So for the average person, at which point should I start worrying about my hearing?
Well, the first people who are probably going to notice are going to be your friends and family.
Yeah.
Because you're saying, huh, what? You're missing a lot. So those are the first signs. Another one is something we call tinnitus, ringing in the ears. And that's often a sign of damage to the inner ear. If you have any of those types of things, go get a hearing test.
For the past 5 years, Singapore has seen an average of 218 cases of noise-induced deafness in the workplace every year. So the next time you decide to pump up the volume, think again. But that is noise I can control. What about noise in the country that I can't? I'm anxious for an answer to this problem. And it seems a research team over at Nanyang Technological University might have the right solution for me.
We get natural ventilation, but lesser noise.
Whoa, that's loud. So given the exposure we have to loud noises around us, I wonder if there's anything we can do to help minimize the health risks for ourselves. And I hear there's actually someone with some cool new technology that can do just that.
This is called the Antinoise control window. This prototype, developed by Prof. Lamban and researchers at the Nanyang Technological University, promises to cut noise levels by at least 10 decibels.
So this speaker simulates the noise from outside, like aircraft or
Yeah.
traffic or MRT noise. So microphones will pick up the noise and then it will calculate and generate an opposite sound that reduces the noise levels inside.
Wow, so if I'm in there, it should be a lot quieter, the
That's
sound I hear.
Yes.
Really?
Yes. Come, let's go.
Okay.
So this is the typical window size.
Right.
These small speakers over here are cancelling the sounds that are coming into the window. So we get natural ventilation, but lesser noise.
Can you show me?
Sure, let me show you an example of a tone.
Yep.
So this is about 53. Now it's about 36.
Oh.
Like 13 decibel reduction.
Do that again. Switch it off. Okay. So that's quite significant.
Yes, that's right. So for tones, it's more significant. So let me show you another example.
Yeah.
So this is aircraft flying by, it's jet aircraft.
Oh, okay, we hear that all the time.
That's right. So this is without, so it peaks about 70. So the peak now goes to about 60, so there's about 10 decibel reduction in noise levels in overall.
Wow, okay. What would be the limitations of this?
At the moment, there are two big limitations. First is the visual obstruction, as you can see. Second is the power and the low frequency performance of these small speakers. But at the same time, we don't want to block the opening because we want natural ventilation. So that's the challenge for the next step.
Noise has sound waves of different frequencies. Most city noise like traffic, planes and aircon units are low frequency. These sound waves travel for longer distances. So to reduce such noise in a big space like an apartment, noise-cancelling systems like these speakers would have to be a lot bigger in order to produce mirror images of the sound waves that can cancel out or reduce the noise.
Although, looking at it, I can't imagine looking out my window and seeing all of this. It's quite an eyesore.
That's right. Yeah, so this is a proof of principle prototype. So we hope to solve these challenges in the future. To remove all the speakers so you don't see them, hide them somewhere, and get better performance at the same time.
So I can see how this device would help some people deal with noise pollution at home, but it's still another 5 years in the making. In the meantime, I'm wondering if there are other alternatives to help me deal with noise pollution now.
I'm at Ng Teng Fong Hospital. Sound specialist Dr. Gary Lee has asked me to meet him here because he wants to show me how sound can have the opposite effect on us.
So doctor, when we hear the word noise, we look at it in a very negative way, but you're saying noise can also be kind of good?
When it comes to sound, there are different acoustic properties, and sounds that we like, we can consider them as pleasant sound or music, but sounds that we don't like, we will consider them as noise. If we use sound therapeutically, it can create a sense of peace, it can lower stress, it can even provoke and evoke good memories. Some people like water sounds because they feel that they are in a beach or they are relaxing. So what we want to choose is these sounds that actually provoke passive listening. What we mean by passive listening means that I don't really attend to, it's always in the background. And we play it, and we just need Bluetooth speakers in the room. And then now with a lot of apps, I have this white noise app, which is a free app. There are a list of sounds. Okay, so this is a fan sound, water sound. So let's say you like this sound, and you set it at a level that is not too loud. It doesn't need to mask over the annoying sounds, but it kind of fills the noise floor. And then subconsciously, it would evoke pleasant feelings, right?
White noise, like the sounds you hear from a TV, has equal sound energy at every frequency. Because it contains all frequencies, white noise is often used to mask other sounds, inhibiting your brain's ability to pick out that irritating sound in a sea of other sound waves.
We have some other products that could help you just behind you.
There's an air filter, air purifier.
That's right. So do you hear a background noise?
It's quite loud, right?
Yeah, so that's the idea, right? So we want to fill the noise floor with a very neutral sound, and that allows you to kind of reduce the distinction between the noise floor and other trigger sounds that perhaps you have in your neighborhood. So this is a sound pillow.
A sound pillow?
Yep.
How does that work?
So it has a little speaker inside, very soft, and you just connect this, your phone, or any CD player.
So I can literally play music that comes out of my pillow.
That's right, that's right.
Wow.
So there are a lot of tools to help people to make their homes filled with pleasant and soothing sounds.
So white noise or other more soothing sounds competes with outside noise by giving me something else to focus on. Think of it as creating a psychological bubble to protect myself against loud noises.
You know, I found out that noise certainly has an impact on our health in ways we may not realize. I never thought that every time I expose myself to very loud noises, a part of my ear literally dies. So I'll be sure to minimize my exposure to self-inflicted loud noise and city noise where I can. But if I can't walk away from noise that irritates me, there's always technology I can turn to, like this white noise app for a bit of peace and quiet.